All right, today we're jumping into the incredible story of a detective who was hunting this gang of thieves. A gang so bold, so slippery, they were basically ghosts. But this isn't just a crime story, you know? It's really a high-stakes chess match between two brilliant minds.
So, get this. Can you even imagine being a cop and getting a phone call from the criminals themselves, literally telling you they're about to pull off a job? Well, that was the signature move of our ghost gang. Just pure unbelievable nerve. They weren't just after the goods. They were openly mocking the entire police force.
And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? This one little detail just completely stumped the initial investigators. It felt less like a real case and more like some kind of twisted game where the bad guys were making up all the rules as they went along.
So, for Major Khaled and his team, this was an absolute nightmare. Every single lead just evaporated. Every move they made was met with a taunting phone call. The gang was always one step ahead, and then they just vanish into thin air, leaving nothing behind but a string of very, very frustrated cops. Now, with the public getting restless and the department looking completely outmatched, the minister decides to make a change. He takes the case away from Major Khaled and gives this impossible assignment to a new detective, Major Hisham. The stakes could not be any higher. And the second Major Hisham gets that file, everything changes. This isn't just a series of robberies anymore. Oh no, it becomes a personal duel, a one-on-one battle between Hisham and a gang that thinks it's totally untouchable. And just how personal does it get? Well, almost immediately, Hisham's personal phone rings, and the voice on the other end says, "Congratulations on your new assignment." I mean, think about that for a second. This confirms the gang has eyes and ears somewhere deep. They know the department's internal moves, and they want Hisham to know it.
And look, this wasn't just a one-time thing. The calls kept coming. They taunted him, they laughed at his efforts. They were basically waging psychological warfare. Their goal was simple, to completely break the man who was in charge of catching them.
So, after another robbery goes down, just as bold as the last one, Major Hisham is feeling the pressure. But instead of giving in, he decides to go back to square one. He starts re-interviewing every single witness, just praying for one tiny little detail that everyone else might have missed. He goes through witness after witness, and it's just nothing. Dead end after dead end. The case feels totally hopeless. And then he gets to Miss Samar. She mentions something that seems pretty small at first, but believe me, it is about to crack this case wide open.
She tells him she saw a taxi waiting outside the building, she saw 3 men leaving with black bags, but here's the crucial part. She remembered the number on the taxi's roof sign, 988. This is the first real, solid piece of evidence in the entire investigation. And that one number changes everything. Suddenly, the ghosts aren't ghosts anymore. They're tied to a physical car, a license plate. The police immediately track down taxi number 988 and its driver, a guy named Jamil.
So they bring Jamil in, and yeah, he cracks pretty fast. He admits to driving 2 guys, Mahmoud and Mohaned, for double the usual fare. And even better, he tells Hisham that they've actually called him for another job. This is it. This is the moment. Hisham has his bait, and he decides it's time to set a trap.
Okay, so the plan was perfect, right? Send Jamil to the meeting point, have cops lying in wait, and boom, ambush. But the reality? Oh, it was a total disaster. This gang was just too smart. They must have sensed something was off because they somehow managed to steal Jamil's car from right under the cops' noses and just vanished, leaving Hisham's team completely humiliated.
And this failure wasn't just embarrassing, it was dangerous. The minister was furious, Hisham's credibility was shot, and worst of all, it proved this gang wasn't just bold, they were incredibly intelligent. It's at this point Hisham has this light bulb moment. He realizes he cannot beat them by playing the same old game. They seem to anticipate every visible move he makes. So, to catch a ghost, he has to start thinking like one.
And here's his brilliant breakthrough. He realizes the gang isn't psychic. They don't have a high-level informant. Their advantage is actually much simpler. They're watching. They have eyes on the police, monitoring every car, every officer they can see.
So, Hisham comes up with a new plan. One built entirely on secrecy. First, his team figures out the gang's next likely target. They confirm the apartment owners are away.
But here's the genius move. Instead of setting up a visible police perimeter, he hides his entire team inside the empty building hours beforehand. This time, the police won't spring the trap. The gang is going to walk right into it.
And it works. Oh man, it works perfectly. Because there are no police cars outside, no cops to be seen, the gang thinks they're safe. Mahmoud and Mohanad break into apartment number 3 and walk straight into the arms of Major Hisham's team. They are caught completely by surprise, red-handed.
With the two main guys in cuffs, the case just completely unravels. The confessions start flowing, and all the final pieces of this wild puzzle start snapping into place.
But there is just one last nagging question. The thing that started this whole personal rivalry in the first place. How in the world did they get Major Hisham's private phone number? Was it an inside leak? Some kind of sophisticated hack? What was it?
Well, the answer, when it comes out in Mahmoud's confession, is almost hilariously simple. He says he was just hanging around the Palace of Justice one day and he overheard Hisham talking to a colleague. He said the Major's number was just kind of known in certain circles. So no big conspiracy, just pure chance.
Once they had Mahmoud and Mohanad, their confessions led the police right to the mastermind, a man named Amir. With the whole crew rounded up, the case went to court, and the verdict was swift. All 3 were convicted of aggravated felony theft and sentenced to 7 years of hard labor.
And just like that, after a whole reign of mockery in what seemed like a series of perfect crimes, the untouchable Ghost Gang was finally brought back down to earth, their phantom reputation dismantled by smart, patient police work.
Which leaves us with one last thing to think about. What's the real lesson here? Is it about the unbelievable nerve of some criminals? Or is it about the fact that sometimes even the most complex, seemingly impossible case can be brought down by one witness remembering 3 simple numbers on the roof of a taxi?